So as Dell said, Brian and Meredith Sifford, we've been Lifestyles Unlimited members since 2013. Came to Dell's 2 days, sat second seat, second row right there. Our son Sam was 6 weeks old when we came to the 2-day. It was literally the first time we left him alone, with someone else, right? And I wanted to sit in the front row, but Meredith wouldn't let me, so we sat in the second row. We've been through 8 properties as lead investors, passive, and another 22 properties and over 2,000 units. Our life has really changed since we came to the 2-day here. And that's the picture on the left there is the lot we're building a house on. We should be moving in December 15th, right? Finally. And the picture on the right is in Napa a couple weeks ago. We spent a whole week out there just learning how to taste wine a whole lot, right? All right. Take this one, babe.
Okay. So why we joined Lifestyles. We had a goal to own some real estate. We knew we had read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon. So we understood that that was the way to get some financial freedom to look towards retirement. We just didn't know how to do it. So we were trying to read books and study online and that kind of thing. Little did I know, but Brian had been listening to Dell on the radio since 2008. Mm-hmm. So he bought a single family with his cousin, partnered with his cousin. So it says we owned 1.5 single families. That's because one we owned together. He's actually here tonight. And then the other was our first home that we purchased. We moved out of that home into another house and made that a rental. So we were kind of stuck. Our goal was to have 12 single family rentals by 2035.
Yeah.
So I think we knocked that one out of the park. So we knew we weren't going as fast as we wanted to. We were stuck. We didn't know what to do. We knew we needed some help and some education. So 6-week-old baby, Brian says, "Hey, I'm going to go to this case study." It was just like this. I did not go with him to that because the baby was still very little. And he said, they're probably just going to try to sell us some CDs or some books, but I'm going to go hear them out. And then he calls me at the end of the night and says, "I signed us up. We have to be there this weekend, all day, Saturday and Sunday. I need you there with me." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But we did it, and here we are. So,
excellent. Yeah, we just knew we needed some help, and it was good. It was good. All right, so we're here to highlight a deal we did. We bought this in 2018, Southgate Manor. We bought it as 156 units in South Fort Worth, but we added a couple units, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Our purchase price was, $45,000 a door. That's pretty good, right? Nope. Back in that day. Or 54, sorry. But $8.4 million, and we gathered a group of investors of about 32 people, and we pulled our money together and, had the down payment of about $3.3 million. Got financing for $7 million, interest rate of 5.05%, right? So kind of when they were, actually, they're getting back above that now, but for a while there, I was like, man, now they're like 2 and 3, but now 5 looks pretty good. And we had a rehab that the bank gave us 75% of the financing for, rehab about $1.5 million. And that's us on due diligence, just checking out the property while we were in contract to buy it. Okay, we're going to jump into numbers in a couple of slides, but high level. When we did sell the property May of this year, we had increased the annual income to about $2 million. Expenses were $1.1 million. And on average, our cash-on-cash return while we held the deal for 4.5 years, was about 4.5%. But we paid out after the sale about $4 million on a 3.368 raise. So paid out 4.3, so it was adequate.
Yeah, so we returned everybody's money, and then gave them 100% plus 130% on that.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a good deal. And you can see in this photo.
Thank you. And
We'll show you some of the things we did to kind of give it better curve appeal, kind of bring it. It was a 60s property and it looked like a 60s property, so we kind of had to bring it into this century.
Yes. One thing we did, see, it was a 1963 property, and the previous owner had inherited it from her father 20 years before we bought it. So she had paid off the loan already. There was no loan on 56 units. And she did some good things. She updated all of the electrical, right? The major electrical systems were updated. And she did replace the roofs just a couple years before we bought it. So it was, all we had to do was update the interiors. And you see we replaced the sign right there in the left picture, the Southgate Manor sign. It's a little 60s, I don't know, cool retro.
Yeah, kind of mid-century modern. We had to go with the retro look of the property because you can't change that square look, right? So we had to add something to update it.
And here's some before and afters of the office. Immediately when you walked into the office, you see in the front of this left-hand picture, you walked in the door and you were standing at the desk, like to pay your rent. You know, the office was gloomy, it was not inviting, right? And so our contractor, our general contractor, had an idea of the subway tile wall. And I had the idea of getting rid of the desk completely and glass desk towards the back where you could walk in and see the office, how beautiful it is. And then I had the idea, I'm claiming this one, I don't care what my GC says, of taking the exterior sign and putting it on that subway tile, right?
Yeah, so we just painted that we had to take that sign down anyway. We painted it to match the exterior paint and brought that in to the office.
And maybe in the back of this picture you can see that there's a door here. That comes in later, right? Because what we did was we framed that in and made it the stairway to the unit above, because they were using a whole unit as the office.
A two-bedroom townhouse they were using as an office.
We separated it, gave it a separate entry, and created a unit. Which Dell will teach you about other income this weekend in the 2-day. Phenomenal stuff. Oh, and these are some pictures I found of actual pictures like from 1963 when they built the property. So we framed those and had them in there. I also found the architect's original pencil drawings, and we framed them and put them in the office too.
That is cool.
All that, the storage area upstairs, all that stuff, yeah. In the office too, you'll see some before and afters on the right-hand side. See, they had the labor law posters on this wall that they built into the sink. For some reason.
You walk in the door and that wall's right here, and it is literally in the middle of the sink.
Yeah. And I don't know why, but the office was off limits before. You couldn't go use the kitchenette. You know, they didn't have the popcorn machine there. Or you couldn't see what the nice cabinets will look like in the rehab unit you're going to get. And then also on the left side, that's the before and after of a unit bath. We did the just framed mirrors, stainless steel fixtures. We did some water conservation, but making it clean, functional, and attractive, basically is what we did. So here is the clubhouse before and after. You see it was just not being used before. And actually, in the foreground of the picture, right on this side, was like dead appliance storage. So we got that out also. And we did the subway tile again. And since the property was on 2 roads, it had 2 large signs. So we used we repurposed the sign again and actually made the clubhouse functional. We have resident events there, that kind of thing.
People can rent it for birthday parties, baby showers, that kind of thing. Yeah, so we just went from a totally dysfunctional room to something really pretty that we can show on a tour, and then something that we can use to show our residents appreciations and do activities for them, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Another great thing we did in the clubhouse, well, my manager may have made this decision, but I'm taking credit for it. When a couple years ago, we had major freezing up here. right? For a
Well, it
whole
was all
week,
of Texas,
power
right?
was out, right? And our maintenance man lived off-site. He had his own little house with his family. But his power was out for 3 or 4 days. And, we said, hey, man, we'd love it if your family wants to camp out in the clubhouse. We just finished the remodel on the clubhouse. It's beautiful. Got some sleeping bags, right? So, because we had power just because of the way we were connected to the grid, right? And, but still, it was freezing. Old pipes were busting. So he knew his family was taken care of for that week, right? They had a place to live, a place to rest. And then I got a 24-hour maintenance man out of the deal, right?
He was right there, ready to fix
serious,
any problems right as they came up. So we didn't have any major issues during that big ice storm.
It was good stuff, man. Before and after of a unit kitchen, we did the mosaic tile backsplash, the half stainless, half black appliances, the pull-down faucet on the right here. So just clean, functional. We didn't put granite in. We just resurfaced the countertops and put door pulls. We painted the cabinet doors and put pulls on. Just making it clean, functional, and attractive. And, the unit on the left, or the unit on the right, I'm sorry, would rent after our rehab for $200 to $250 more per month. So, and Dell will talk to you about increase in income in multifamily this weekend at the 2-day. Here's some more before and after. This is a new unit. Our maintenance men, man, they had the Taj Mahal of storage areas. They had 3 large storage areas on the property. Hey, look, there's John Pry. Right? They had 3 large storage areas on the property. And so this was a partnership meeting. And then this is a couple months later and there was the floor plan of the planned unit, right? And that's a couple months later when we leased out the unit, a little 1-bedroom right there.
I want to tell a little funny bit that you might not even realize. So every time we would walk a property to, tour a property to think about buying, Brian was always looking for spaces to add new units every time. So this was like our 4th lead deal. And we've had the same GC with us through the whole time. And he would always come walk properties with us. And by the time we got to this property, he was the one going, oh, look at all this space. We could do a unit here. We could do a unit here. So Brian didn't even have to think of that because our GC, who actually has the skill to do that, started getting an eye for where can we add units.
Yeah.
So this was all his idea, really.
He asked the existing maintenance man, he's like, why y'all got all this space, man? And this was another dead appliance storage area we turned into a little 1-bedroom, right? And Dell will teach you about other income this weekend, how it significantly increases the value of your multifamily investment. Okay, so here's the details on the numbers. Year 1, we started out just high level. Total income on the property for year 1 was about $1.4 million. Total expenses were about $800. So that gave us a net operating income. And Dell is going to teach you all about this weekend if you don't follow completely, but it's perfectly fine.
But simply put, in multifamily, your property is the value of your property is based on how much income it makes, not how much the next door neighbor is worth, like in single family. So seeing that NOI go up means the value of your property is increasing.
So this was the first 3 years. Year 1, when we at purchase, it was $643,000 for the NOI. Went up to $672 year 2 because we were in rehab, slowly increasing rents as we turn units. And then year 3 was the pop. Most of those rehab happened. Our NOI was back up around $850,000 a year. To see the whole deal, right? Because we sold it at 4.5 years of ownership. Was this a 5 or a 6 cap? I don't know. Dell will talk to you all about cap rates, and you'll fully understand them this weekend, but it's how we value property in multifamily. We took it at takeover, high level, $8.4 million purchase price, and we sold it 4.5 years later for $15.25 million. Thank you.
So when we decided to sell this property, It was right around when Dell called the market.
Oh, that's right.
So we were going back and forth. Should we sell it? Because we were really in a long-term loan, but since the interest rates had come up, then our fee for getting out of the loan had gone down. So that was a positive. But you can see also that our insurance had gone up, our taxes had gone up significantly. So our NOI had actually come down a little bit from the year before. And then we listened to Dell. He's calling the market. This is an older property. So we said, you know what? I think it's time. We've done everything we can here. We've fixed it. We have exceeded our pro forma, and so we listened and we sold, and that was the best thing we could have done at that time.
We got out of a 60s property in early to mid 2023. So. Perfect. Thank you, Dell. Great advice. So several things we did throughout the property. There's an aerial shot of Southgate Manor. We increased rents to market. When we took over, the previous owner was mom and pop in it, and her rents weren't even up to market for the quality of unit she was offering to be leased. And then over 4 years, we upgraded every unit on the property. Average unit rent increased at about $400, $440. It's phenomenal, right? At takeover, our rent was $745, the average unit rent. At sale, it was about $1,200. So now that's 4.5 years. There were some good rent increases up here, but also fixing the units up, making them the best product in that submarket of southeast Fort Worth, really aided in that. We did water conservation, and then we implemented all bills paid to have that pay dividends to us again. And Dell will talk about all these other income opportunities this weekend. And like I said, we built 3 new units, right? We converted the office that was a unit we split it, and then the other 2 maintenance storage areas. Completely rehabbed both the laundry rooms and made them functional. We did reserve parking on this. I love reserve parking. Changed my life, I did. We did pet rent, and of course, we had to fix all the major stuff. We've replaced boilers and chillers. We did attic insulation to make it a little more energy efficient, and addressed all the deferred maintenance issues the previous owner left on the property. We have a question. Where is Southgate Manor? 1200 East Seminary Drive, Fort Worth, Texas. South Fort Worth, off of Seminary, just north of 820-35 area. Yes, sir. Ooh.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, the question is, was the property individually metered?
No.
It was not. When they replaced all of the major electrical equipment, there was just boxes on the side feeding everything. There weren't individual meters. So
Yeah,
no.
it's an all bills paid property.
Yep.
And in that submarket, that's what residents expect. They want all bills paid. They want to know exactly what their monthly rent is going to be.
What their monthly rent is going to be, and they don't have a water bill going up this month, that kind of thing. But okay, how has Lifestyles Unlimited, or how's your life changed since joining Lifestyles Unlimited? It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. We came here expecting to have 12 single-family rentals by 2035. All right, and what are you gonna do, right? After attending the 2-day in August 2013, I quit my job at AT&T. It replaced my $100,000 a year income by August 2017. And then she left the school system just slightly after that. Meredith used to be a school psychologist, LSSP. And yeah, I was a rehab project, right? But our quote up there, go ahead, babe.
I was just going to say, now our goal is for our kids to have 12 single families by 2035. So we own our time now, but we also have something that we didn't have before, which was something to leave to our kids. And they're going to be able to start from a much higher place than we did. And it's going to be really cool to see what they can do from their starting point.
Yeah, like we started here, and maybe we'll be here by the time we die. Our kids are starting here, and they're going to be like, way above us, right? Right, Madeline? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's next? So I'd like to highlight a few pictures on the left-hand side. For a couple years, I've been having my daughter and my son work in the business, right? When I send out monthly update to partners and the LLCs of these partnerships, right there, my daughter is working on a pic collage in the top left there of the resident appreciation event. So if you're a partner of mine, my daughter's doing those pictures that come out to you, by the way, with my supervision. And then I promoted her a few months ago, and now in the bottom picture on the left, you see my son Sam. He's reviewing the rent rolls before they go out to partners. And
He's 10.
yeah, I taught my daughter how to do this. She's been doing it for a couple years. She likes writing on my iPad. I'll pull up the current rent roll and availability report, and she would line out, oh, this one's leased at this higher rent, And so a couple months ago, after Hawaii, actually, after Sam caught that fish in Hawaii, right? On the plane ride back, he goes, Mom, if I buy real estate, can I fly in first class like this all the time? Because this is a lot better, right? If I do what Dad does, right? So we came back, and this is just a few months ago, July or August, when monthly reports are going out. He asked to work in the business, and so I said, Ella, you've been promoted. Teach Sam how to do the rent rolls, right? And it would take her about 15 minutes to do it for all 3 or 4 properties we had, but it took 2 hours, right? And she's like, Dad, it's taking so long. I was like, hey, you're a boss now. Deal with it. And she'd pick up her phone. I'm like, look, I'm not paying you to scroll Facebook or your phone, okay? You need to watch your employees. So just.
Showing us that it will have been back in the earlier time.
Yeah, I've been doing it since 2017. Yep. And then you'll see the middle picture on the left there. I don't know if we have any partners in Crossings in Walnut Hill. That's going to be the road trip. That's my daughter sitting there with me. I was sitting right by her side while we're reviewing subscription agreements and accepting people into the deal, right? So she got paid a little more that day, and I watched her every move, of course, right? And I did it. I pushed the button, but I'm teaching her how to work on her business.
I'm glad you let me in.
On the right, you see our short-term goals. The picture in the top center of the slide is the house we're hopefully moving into here in about a month. Another one, I want to build a cabin out of my ranch. Trying to do that for a while.
That's a long-term goal, not a short-term
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, you're right.
We're done building houses for a while.
And of course, as leads, we're always looking for deals, right? And we want to do more family travel abroad. We do some good vacations quite a few times a year, but I think we want to get a little further out, right?
Yeah, now that our kids are older, do some traveling out of the country. Yeah, and always buy more properties. We are ready to take advantage of this market and buy. So we are actively looking all the time.
So once again, we couldn't do this by ourselves. Actually, I remember Don. There's Don Rao right there in that picture. We were on a camping trip together, Don and Lisa, and we walked out to the property, Southgate Manor, when we were looking at doing the deal. And it's just the value of having a mentor, right? A multi-millionaire who's done it 10 more times than you had. And we walked out, and I was like, what do you think about this deal? We walked up, he goes, this deal is going to work. I like this property. She's fixed that. She's fixed that. The units look like that. This is going to work. And Realty, Carolyn Putney helped us out on this deal, and I think she may have been a partner in the deal.
Yeah, she was. And she texted me. She was going to be here tonight, but she's not feeling well. So hopefully she's going to feel better before Dale's thing tomorrow, or else she would be here.
And then also the vendors down below, that's some walked across the stage. Nate, are you here still? Awesome. Always happens. Yep. But Nate, Lifetime Advisors, helped us out. Heritage Construction, Dotson Legal Group did everything for us. I mean, the vendors are the tools that Lifestyles brings to help us get these deals done. We actually had Sherman Williams come out, their consultant on paint colors, and in Southgate. And we mocked up 3 different units, because One was shaded, one was sunny, but we just wanted to see what it looked like before we chose one. And this lady, a resident, she always sat out there on a lawn
She
chair.
was the lady that
She was the mayor.
The mayor. Yeah, she
Mama
knows
Sita,
everybody
yeah.
on that property. She's out on her lawn chair, retired lady. Yeah, she had an opinion.
So we were there with the designer looking at the paint color. She goes, "Y'all ain't gonna paint it that color, are you?" We're like, no, ma'am, we're not.
Of course, we would never do that.
Obviously doesn't look good up on the wall. She's like, "I like the one on the far right. That's a good combination." What color did we paint the property? The one she recommended, right? But yeah, that's all we got. Dale, you're teaching the 2 day. Oh, wait, questions. Yes, sorry.
How did you manage this project? How did you manage this project? Did you manage it in-house? Did you farm it out to an external management company?
Yes. So what we had here was I managed the LLC and the construction part, right? Managed GC. We did use a third-party management company for this one. And they had a professional staff, whole back-end HR. Yeah, Chuck.
My son is watching online from Los Angeles and has a question.
Hello, Chuck's son.
Kyle.
Repeat
Kyle.
the question.
Kyle's watching. And he wants to know what was the lowest amount of money you accepted from investing in this deal.
Oh, you don't want to
Great
know
question,
that.
Kyle.
You don't want to know that.
We had a few partners.
Brian, can you repeat
Yes.
repeat what he said about his
The
son
question
being online all
is,
day?
what was the lowest amount of money you had in the deal? You know, you would think that people would put proportionally in the amount of money that fits their financial position.
He's mostly broke.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I put in the lowest amount of money that anybody put in.
You weren't the only one at that.
There were a few.
No,
We had a
we
few
had
$25,000
like 5 or so.
investors. We had a few $30,000 investors in this deal. Yeah. Good question. Thank you. Any other questions?
See this, guys? I'm born with short arms.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Dale.
Wait a minute. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
But wait, there's more. I have to ruin your life. We tell all these incredible stories. How many people would like to earn 130% return and do literally nothing? Let me see your hand. You're kindred to my spirit. I didn't even remember I was in the deal. Right? But unfortunately, his mentor, Don Rao, who's been with us for many, many years as a mentor.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mike Spots, where'd Mike disappear to? Mike, you still in here?
He went and got us a seat at the bar.
Okay, Mike Spots. We have 2 mentors. We used to have 3. One of them retired. And these guys were holding it down as 2 mentors for a long time. And then Don said to me, Del, I've been doing this for you for many, how many, 8 years, 10 years, something like that? Yeah. And he goes, I'm ready now to just start traveling, not a week at a time, but a month or 2 at a time. And he told me he wanted to take 1 or 2 month vacations 3 or 4 times a year. And so he wasn't going to be able to stay around and be able to come to every single meeting every month, what a blah, 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 blah. He wanted his damn life back, right? And so I got on my phone and I just remembered hearing this incredible story. And I asked this guy I knew to go out and have drinks. And I wrecked his life. I said, Brian, could you come be a mentor?
Yeah.
But wait, he said no. He said, I got a brand new home I just built. I got a brand new ranch. I want to go build this thing. I'm spending time with our kids. Our life is great. We're traveling. I don't want to do it. He go, Brian. All right. Give him a hand. He's our new mentor.
Thank you.
Meredith, on the other hand, has been taking care of these kids. Do you homeschool those kids too or not?
No, they
You don't?
they
Okay.
go to private school.
So whatever, she contacts me. She goes, I think for some reason I've got all this skill set. I got nothing to do. We sold all our properties off. I have nothing to do. So can I come to work as a real estate broker and sell, apartments? I go, I guess. You want to do what? Sell and make me money? Yeah, I can work with that. Okay, give her a hand. She's now a new multifamily man.